All right. So we covered a little bit of this. Trump has deployed the National Guard to clean up DC, and the overall crime has completely plummeted. So it technically worked. Now he's trying to deploy the National Guard to 19 other states.
Crime crackdown sweeping the nation after deploying.
Which I think this is a great idea. I know a lot of people hate the idea of removing the homeless from the streets and stuff, but at the end of the day, they don't need to be sitting around getting high off their ass on the streets in public parks. They could go and seek help. There's plenty of places they can go to seek help.
The National Guard to Washington, D.C. Now,
not doing anything causes a bigger problem in every single city. There is no excuse to allow this.
Plans to extend its effort across 19 states.
W. Donald Trump. That's a W. We can kind of sort of ignore the Epstein files for a little bit, but the fact that he's really trying to do this, I actually think it's a great idea.
Crime and supporting immigration.
By the way, if you want to get down on my comments and say some stupid stuff, like most of you idiots do, the least you can do instead of insulting me is tell me why you think it's a bad idea. Or, for that matter, why don't you tell me what else they could do besides putting these people either in... Because they're given an option. They're either given the option to... They're given an option to seek drug addiction counseling, go to the homeless shelter, or go to jail. And the thing is you can't just sit there on the side of the road in public parks. I'm sorry, but you can't just accept this. You can't.
Enforcement. We'll talk to Republican Congressman Pat Fallon in just a moment. Plus, an illegal alien accused of killing 3 people in a truck accident is just across the road. See.
Good morning. Short and those National Guard, Kevin. Now, for context, last year the murder rate in D.C. was on par with Chicago and nearly 4 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 6 times higher than New York, as you can see there. And you mentioned off the top, 1,700 National Guard members will be sent to 19 states. That's less than 100 per state. The White House says they will be helping.
Is that a Karen? That looks like a Karen right there, getting worked up.
Yes, with clerical support and other logistical
That
tasks.
totally is a Karen. That's totally a Karen. She's got her fingers in her ears, and she's probably saying something stupid.
For processing illegal aliens at ICE facilities. Now, speaking of law enforcement, yesterday FBI agents raided the home of Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, outside Washington, his home in Montgomery.
Lots happened.
He's not a fan of Bolton, who wrote a book.
I'm not suffers
During that raid.
my book. I think it is.
It's Turtle Man.
Appreciate that. The president right here in the nation's capital. And now that effort.
Here we go. That's the other 19 states. Oh, they're going to hit Texas? Hell yeah, boys, come on down. Louisiana too? Yes, sir.
Expanding across the country. Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon is here with us this afternoon. This morning. It is great to have you with us. This is one of those situations, frankly, you and I have to live here.
I can't tell you how many people I've tried to sit here and say, well, you can't just remove them from where they're at because that's just not the way you do it. Well, what else are we supposed to do? I have heard time and time again of people saying, that's not what you're supposed to do. Well, I'll tell you what, when you come up with a better idea of what to do with these people and you want to chip in or offer up your homes to these homeless people, or so that way they can pitch a tent in the back of your house, then you go ahead and do that. But until then, this is the next best solution.
And anything that we can do to make it safer for citizens like us.
I can't stand these people that try to sit here and be like, well, that's just not the way to do it. And then they go down and they protest and do all this stupid stuff. And it's like, dude, tell you what. You got that many protesters, why don't you guys put your all's money together and buy like an apartment or a home for these people? You guys can go and actually build a home. You can open up your own homes. But sitting here and doing nothing is not the reason. That is not what can be done. There is always something that can be done. Just doing nothing is not a solution to this problem. Straight up, it's not.
Us. Or for visitors in particular, I think is a very strong move by this White House.
Oh, yeah, Kevin, it's bold action. I mean, consider that the chairman of the police union in D.C. has admitted and shared that they were told to downgrade serious crimes like shootings and carjackings to lesser crimes. And even
that's crazy that D.C., instead of owning up to the fact that they can't keep police because they're running from there because they're not allowed to do their job. Instead of owning up to that, they would rather make the crimes less harsh. So if you shoot somebody, instead of it being like straight up murder, they're going to try and like lower. No, dude, that's so stupid.
DC, hooking the books on their crime statistics. You're 3.5 times more likely to be killed in DC than you were in 2012 when a serious crime is committed. And from 2018 to 2023, carjackings are up 550%. So things are out of control. And thank goodness President Trump has taken these, again, bold actions.
I agree.
Bold actions, and in particular,
and I could care less who's running that White House as long as somebody does this. I don't care. Somebody needed to do this. I don't care who it was, as long as it got done.
Look at the numbers. I mean, you talk about homicides, none for several days, over a week. I mean, this again is the little slow march.
Big surprise if you flood an area with a bunch of troops. It's a good chance crime's not going to be committed, huh, guys? Who would have thought? If you put the people that are doing the crimes and the repeat offenders in jail, the crime stops. Come on.
In our nation's
Come on.
There's absolutely no reason to expect to get mugged or carjacked or assaulted just because you live here. And so I think this is great action. I think most Americans can agree with that as long as they don't have TDS. Meantime, in your home state of Texas, the state Senate there actually passed a GOP-drawn congressional map, paving the way, as you know, for 5 more seats.
I don't care about all that.
If you look at here about Democrats, just Ohio, the Democrats,
it looks like that's it. We're not gonna sit here and listen to the rest of this joke. But yes, I think that this is a long time coming. As far as I'm concerned, if Trump didn't do it, somebody else would have. And it's not the cleanest way to clean up the streets, but you know what? It's got to start somewhere. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as it gets these freaking wackos off the street and these murderers off the street, and it puts them in jail, and it gets all these homeless Fint zombies out of the parks and in places where they need to be, I'm fine with that. I think this is a great idea. This is a great step this is the right step in a great direction, in my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there's any way you can possibly hate this. And if you do, you're an idiot. But that's it. I'm out of here. Peace.